Layer basics. Layer basics. About Photoshop layers. Photoshop layers are like sheets or stacked acetate, and you can see through transparent areas of a layer to the layers below, and you move a layer to position the content on the layer, and like sliding a sheet of acetate in a stack. And you can also change the opacity of a layer to make content partially transparent. Transparent areas on a layer let you see layers below, and you use layers to perform tasks such as compositing multiple images, adding text to an image, or adding vector graphic shapes. And you can apply a layer style to add a special effect such as a drop shadow or a glow. So, introduction to layers. Organizing Photoshop layers. A new image has a single layer, by the way, and there's a number of additional layers. Layer effects and layer sets you can add to an image is limited only by your computer's memory. And you work with layers in the layers panel, and layer groups help you organize and manage layers. And you can use groups to arrange your layers in a logical order and to reduce clutter in the layers panel. And you can nest groups within other groups. You can also use groups to apply attributes and masks to multiple layers simultaneously. And for some great types for working with layers. Photoshop layers for non-destructive editing. So what about Photoshop layers for non-destructive editing? Sometimes layers don't contain any apparent content. For example, an adjustment layer holds color or tonal adjustments that affect the layers below it, rather than edit images pixels directly. And you can edit an adjustment layer and leave the underlying pixels unchanged. And a special type of layer called a smart object contains one or more layers or content, and you can transform, scale and skew or reshape and a smart object without directly editing image pixels. Or you can edit the smart objects as a separate image even after placing it in a Photoshop image. And the smart objects can also contain smart filter effects, which allow you to apply filters and non-destructively to images so that you can later tweak or remove the filter effect. So what about video layers? Video layers. You can use video layers to add video to an image, and after importing a video clip into an image as a video layer, you can mask the layer, transform it, and apply layer effects and paint an individual frames or rasterize an individual frame and convert it to a standard layer. And you can use the timeline panel to play the video within the image or to access individual frames. So what about Photoshop layers? Photoshop layers panel overview. The layers panel in Photoshop lists all layers, layer groups, and layer effects. In an image, you can use the layers panel to show and hide layers, and create new layers, and work with groups of layers. And you can access additional commands and options in the layers panel menu, like the screenshot now. Photoshop layers panel. We have a screenshot here. Explain for you everything about layers panel. We have A and B and C and D and E and F and G. A is meaning layers panel menu, and B is meaning filter, and C is meaning layer group, and D is meaning layer, and E expand all collapse layer effects, and F is meaning layer effect, and G is meaning layer thumbnail. How to display the Photoshop layers panel? How to display the Photoshop layers panel? We have option now. You have to choose Windows, then layers, and choose a command from the Photoshop layers panel menu. Then click the triangle in the upper right corner of the panel. Then change the size of Photoshop layer sample. How to change the size in Photoshop layer sample? You have to choose panel option from the layers panel menu. Then select a thumbnail size. Then how to change the thumbnail content? You have to choose panel options from the layers panel menu and select entire document to display the contents of an entire document, and then select layers bounds to restrict the thumbnail to the object's pixels on the layer, and turn off thumbnails to improve performance and save monitor space. How to expand and collapse groups. Click the triangle to the left of a group folder, then filter Photoshop layers. At the top of the layers panel, the filtering options help you find key layers in complex documents quickly, and you can display a subset of layers based on name and kind and effect mode and attribute or color label, like the screenshot now. Filter layers option in the layers panel. We have steps. Step number 1, choose a filter type from the pop-up menu. Then step number 2, select or enter the filter criteria. And number 3, click the toggle switch to switch layer filtering on or off. How to convert background and Photoshop layers. When you create, by the way, a new image with a white background or colored background, the bottommost image in the layers panel is called background, and an image can have only one background layer, and you can't change the stacking order of a background layer anyway, and its blending mode or its opacity. And however, you can convert a background into a regular layer only, and then change any of these attributes. And when you create a new image with transparent content, the image doesn't have a background layer, by the way, and the bottommost layer is not constrained like the background layer, and you can move it anywhere in the layers panel and change its opacity and blending mode. And how to convert a background into a Photoshop layer. We have steps here now. Step number 1, double click background in the layers panel, then choose layer, then choose new, then choose layer from background. Number 2, set layers options, and number 3, click OK. And how to convert a Photoshop layer into a background. We have a step again. Step number 1, select a Photoshop layer in the layers panel, then choose layer, then choose new, then choose background from layer, and any transparent, by the way, pixels in the layer are converted actually to the background color, and the layer drops to the bottom of the layer stack. Note, and be careful here again, please. You can't create a background by giving a regular layer the name and background must use the background from a layer command. From the layer command, actually, yes. Okay, so what about video tutorials and turn the background layer into a regular layer? Duplicate photos layer. How to duplicate photos Photoshop layers? You can duplicate layers within an image or into another or a new image. And how to duplicate a Photoshop layer or a group within an image. We have the steps here now. Step number 1, select a layer or group in the layers panel, then do one of the following. Drag the layer or group to the create a new layer button and choose duplicate layer or duplicate group from the layers menu or the layers panel menu, and then enter a name for the layer or group and then click OK. And how to duplicate a Photoshop layer or group in another image. We have steps again. Step number 1, open the source and destination images. Number 2, from the layers panel of the source image, select one of more layers or a layer group. Number 3, do one of the following. Drag the layer or group from the layers panel to the destination image. Then select the move tool and drag from the source image to the destination image, and to the duplicate layer or group appears above the active layer, by the way, in the layers panel of the destination image, and you press shift to drag to move the image content to the same location is acquired in the source image, and if the source and destination images have the same pixels dimensions or to the center of the document window, if the source and destination images have different pixels dimensions, and choose duplicate layers or duplicate group from the layers menu or the layers panel menu. You have to choose the destination document from the document pop-up menu, then click OK. And to choose select all the pixels on the layer, and choose edit, then choose copy, and then choose edit and paste in the destination image. This method, by the way, copies only pixels and excluding layer properties such as blending mode. How to create a new document from a Photoshop layer or group. We have steps. Step number 1, select a layer or group from the layers panel. Then number 2, choose duplicate layer or duplicate group from the layers menu or the layers panel menu. Step number 3, choose new from the document pop-up menu and then click OK. Sample from all visible Photoshop layers. Sample from all visible Photoshop layers. The default behavior of the mixer brush and magic wand and smudge and blur and sharpen and paint bucket and clone stamp and healing brush tools is to sample color, by the way, only from pixels on the active layer. This means you can smudge or sample in a single layer, by the way, and to smudge or sample pixels from all visible layers with these tools, select sample all layers from the option bar. And how to change transparency preferences. We have steps here now. Number 1, in Windows, if you use Windows, choose edit, then choose preferences, then choose transparency and gamut. And in Mac operating system, choose Photoshop, then choose preferences, then choose transparency and gamut. And step number 2, choose a size and color for the transparency checkboard, or choose none for grid size to hide the transparency checkboard. And number 3, you have to click OK. This is finally. Thank you.